Hello, my loves, and welcome to another video. Today, I want to talk to you about the podcast strategy that I've been using for quite a while now and is going to be my number one marketing strategy for the next 12 months and probably forever after because it just works so well. And I've also developed a product around the strategy because I want to get it into as many hands as possible. And so I have called this product the Podcast Millionaire. And essentially, I have been working with coaches and experts for many, many, many years now, decades. And I know that the number one problem that most people have is lack of audience size. So we've got these people out there that are doing all of the right things, right? They're writing the books, they're showing up on social media, they're launching their podcasts, but they don't have the audience. And so the results that they get from doing those things are pretty limited, right? So if you've got a podcast and say you've got your 50 episodes and the podcast isn't growing and you aren't gaining a lot of subscribers and it's just not really doing much and you love doing it, but you're thinking to yourself, the same, 60, 70 people are listening to it every week and that's it. That was my challenge. I love doing my podcast. I launched this particular podcast that I have back in around 2020, I think it was. And it was the same listenership every single week. And it didn't matter what the topic was. It didn't matter, if I updated the image. It didn't matter if I had a fancy intro, an outro. It just didn't grow. And I got to thinking there's got to be a way for this to grow. And so I remember hiring somebody to promote the podcast and grow it. And somebody did that for me, and the results were really good. I was seeing my listenership go up, my subscribers go up, all of the metrics were trending in the right direction, but it was really expensive. And I wasn't really seeing any benefit in terms of hard cash. Like it didn't really impact my bottom line. And so I know these things can take time. Well, I know that now. And the other thing that I know now is that we need a lot more volume than what we think we need to be able to make those big financial numbers in our business. So I didn't know those things back then. And even if I wanted to grow it beyond where it was growing with the budget that I had, I just couldn't afford to do it. And so I put that strategy away, knowing in the back of my mind that I'll go back to that someday. So fast forward a few years, and social media had turned into the shit show that we see today. And so many people that are in that coaching space and the expert space, the consulting space, they've shape shifted and twisted and morphed themselves into something different, trying to algorithm hack their way with Instagram and TikTok and all of those short form content platforms because they're only being, excuse me, because they're only being rewarded if the algorithm, if they do things that make the algorithm happy, right? And that just never felt right to me. And I remember back in 2024, towards the end of 2023, early 2024, it's like, I'm going to go all in on my podcast. And then I dragged my heels a little bit, didn't really do a lot and kind of forgot about it. And then around this time last year, so we're talking November 2024, I had just had enough with social media. I had enough for performing for the algorithm. And I went in search for somebody to help grow my podcast. And I found the perfect team to grow my podcast. And my team were encouraging me to be monetized, not something that I'd thought of. I was getting all icky about it because I didn't want ads inside my podcast episodes. And I just got a little bit like, no, no, no. And I resisted, resisted, resisted. And then my podcast guy said again, I really think you need to consider monetization. I'm like, yeah, but I don't want ads and, just me stuck in my ways. And then he sent me some screenshots of other people that he has been working with to promote once they were monetized. He's like, you can earn money from streaming revenue. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, right? Just was so not interested in hearing all about it. And then, after about the 100th time, he sent me some screenshots, as I say, of the revenue that his other clients had been earning. And I couldn't get excited about the numbers. We're talking 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 3,000 US dollars, right? So not that excited about that type of revenue because my business does, way bigger numbers than that. But what did get me excited was I went and had a look at the little calculator and I plugged in, if you have a million downloads every month, how much do you earn? And it was like, the lower end. It's like, what about 2 million? And that was where those numbers matched up. And so I didn't get excited about that streaming revenue, but I got very excited about building an audience of millions. And so I said, okay, green light, monetize me. And so we got my podcast monetized, and now we're working towards 10,000 downloads a day. 10,000 downloads a day is 300,000 downloads a month. For every portion of people that find my podcast and go on to consume it, the percentages are pretty high. A lot of them become subscribers. And so month after month after month, this compounds until we build an audience of millions. And I love this strategy so much. And what I love about it even more is my team, I don't have to pay them every month. They take a revenue share of the streaming revenue. So there's an upfront cost for monetization because it's pretty intense. You need at least 30,000 downloads and 10,000 consumption hours in a 30-day process. So that's 333 hours per day of podcast consumption. So they've got to make that happen pretty quickly so that the algorithm goes, oh, this is a podcast that's worthy, right? So the monetization process happens and then your podcast starts to grow and the team continue to promote it. So there is that upfront cost at the very beginning because monetization is expensive, but then after that, we open the door to the team continuing to promote for just a 50% revenue share. And if you're like me, you're not that excited about, earning a few $1,000s a month, and you know that when you've got that audience, that is where the money is going to come from. If you've got an audience of millions every month, that is going to impact your bottom line. If you've got your business set up and you know how to sell your offers and all that sort of stuff. Most coaches just need an audience. Most coaches have got their ducks in a row. They could use some tweaking and refining. And I find most coaches need to simplify things. They're overcomplicating things. And so when that stuff is in place and you've got an audience coming in, that's going to solve most of your problems. And my team will continue to grow and grow and grow and grow your channel because the more you grow, the more they earn, right? And they just take that revenue share. For me, I'm like, take it. I don't care. Like, take the revenue stream, the money that comes in through the streaming revenue, because I'm not excited about that. I'm excited about what this is doing for my bottom line in terms of sales, high ticket sales coming into my business. So, that I didn't know it was going to take me here. But for decades, I've been creating marketing systems that work for me, and then I share them with my clients, either in my mastermind, my inner circle, private clients, things like that. I've always shared this stuff. And I had been sharing this inside my mastermind for the last 12 months, gave people access to my team, things like that. And so now I'm ready to, well, I have been ready to market it as its own product and make it available to everybody because it's just so exciting. It is so exciting to know that I don't need to do anything different. Every single week I show up, I talk into my microphone, I use the free version of Riverside to upload, to record my videos. I could use GarageBand if I wanted to. It's not fancy. I used to have an intro and an outro. I've got rid of those. For me, I don't want to listen to somebody's intro every time I listen to a podcast. So I'm not going to put you through listening to mine. And so I've removed all of those. It's just very simple. And the streaming revenue comes in. The downloads are happening every month and it is growing and growing and growing. And so I know with an audience of millions every single month, I don't need to do anything else. I show up on other social media platforms now because I like to, right? And because I like to share the journey, not because I need to get on there and twist and turn and pander to the algorithm to make sales. My sales happen from my podcast. And what I love about podcasting, just like YouTube really, is that when people subscribe, they're tuning in, they become very loyal and they listen to you for a long time. I know that the average person is consuming so many hours of my podcast every single month. I know they're back, I've got I think 163 episodes now. So they're listening, they're binging on the whole lot. And so when people come to me, they know me really well, much the same as the content that I do for this channel. It is, there's no bells and whistles. This is probably going to be the podcast is where you're going to really see me be the most me and really get to know me so well, just because I record it on a Monday morning. I say goodbye to my partner on a Monday morning. I grab a coffee, I go back to bed for a bit, and then I come into my office. Still haven't had my shower or anything. I don't have a video going. I just sit down and record the podcast that I've been playing around with in my head all week, and it's done. And so there's no, how do I look? I'm not worried about my hair. I'm not worried about anything like that. I'm not worried about, how many outfits I need to, show up on a video with a different top each time or whatever. I don't have to worry about any of those things. It's the easiest thing that I've ever done. And me deciding to get in there and to do that strategy, and then to take that strategy and to grow that strategy, and now to package that up and sell it so that you guys can experience it as well. It's probably, my clients have typically, they get an ROI on their investment with me because I'm good at what I do. But I love that this product means that it will pay for itself. So you'll have an investment for sure up front. You get my expertise for 4 weeks. You have the promo team go in and monetize you. And then from there, it's up to the promo team to keep growing, and they're incentivized because the more successful you are, the more they earn. And so it's I lost my train of thought, but it feels like such a good way for me to do business without changing anything about myself. It's the way to market. And so packaging that up for you, that's where I was going, means that because you've got that streaming revenue coming in, even though you're paying 50% of that streaming revenue to my team, you are still, why did I lose my train of thought again? What is going on? It's coming to me. I'm not going to hit pause, not doing it. It'll pay for itself. That's where I was going. And it might pay for itself in 12 months. It might pay for itself in 6 months. It might pay for itself in 18 months. But what I love about it is that that streaming revenue is going to come back to you every single month. And that's going to pay for the cost of this program, right? And what I was saying before is that, in the past, I've had to work pretty hard to make sure that people are, creating the right offers, that everything is as it should be so that they can go out there and be successful. This doesn't hinge so much on that, because the beauty of it is that you get to just be you. And because of the volume of people that are coming your way, you only need a small percentage to actually love how you do things, because we're all so different, right? And so you actually trying to be something that you're not, and trying to do things in a way that are more complicated than they need to be, more labor intensive than they needed to be, is just going to cause you grief, and you're going to stop doing the podcast, and then that's going to stop. So we want to make it really easy. It's counterproductive for you to try and make it fancier and all the rest of it. It's just show up with your microphone, do your thing. If you want to do video, you can. I like not to do video for my podcast because of the little system that I've got set up. And I don't want to have to go and do my hair and get fancy before I sit down and record my podcast. I just don't want to do that. So the Podcast Millionaire is available to you. I only have a small amount of places every single month because it's pretty labor intensive. But if you're interested in the Podcast Millionaire, then come over to Instagram and connect with me at Michelle Hext. Drop me a message. Let me know that you want to have a conversation about the Podcast Millionaire, and I can have a quick chat with you. And I can also put you on the phone or on a Zoom with my team, and they can just run you through and make sure that you're a really good fit for this product, because it needs to work for you. Anyway, so this video has probably felt like a big sales video, and I can't really get around that. Sharing this strategy and the way that it works, I can't really get around it because I want you to have it. Like I really want you to have this product because it's game changing. But what I do want you to know is that if you are over social media and dancing for the freaking algorithm and you're doing all of the things that just taking you away from you being you, you have to figure out what is the strategy that is going to work for you. And for me, that was podcasting, and I just followed my nose. I built a system around it. That system replicates, and it's the easiest thing that I've ever done, right? And so it might not be podcasting for you. It might be YouTube, or it might be whatever, right? It might be email marketing. It could be anything. But whatever feels good to you is what you need to go with. I always say to my clients that whatever strategy you want, we have to build. We can't just paint by numbers and follow some bro marketing method and try to make it work for us. We have to develop our own and do it in a way that feels aligned to who we are and our values and how we want people to see us when we show up in the world. And I believe that we can make any strategy work if it's aligned to us. We can make any strategy work. But if you have even like the most successful bro marketer tell you, paint by numbers, do this thing, and it should work on paper and it's not working, it's because it's not meant to, because you're not that person. Like you shouldn't be following that system. You've got to develop your own. So anyway, if you want to know about the Podcast Millionaire, you can reach out to me and I'm happy to have that conversation with you. But aside from that, make sure that if you are marketing in a way that sucks the life out of you, you can stop. You can say no more and you can develop a way to do it for yourself, because marketing, like it or not, is the where we spend the majority of our time, right? Most people that come into that coaching space, they want to spend the majority of their time working with clients and enjoying working with clients and producing results for clients. But the reality is, it's like 80% marketing, 20% doing the work that we love to do. And this just makes it a lot easier. But you can do that too, whatever strategy it is for you. Figure out, how do we build this strategy? Leverage paid traffic, right? Leverage whatever audience you want, build that audience, invest in the audience, because we're not getting it for free anymore. And just know that if you build the audience and you have everything in place the way that you want it to, then you will be successful. But you've got to persevere. It doesn't always happen the first time. But don't be led to running marketing in a way that sucks the life out of you. It devalues your product, and it just takes you out of your sweet spot. We don't want to be doing that. Too many people have been doing that, and look at the shit show that we've got going on over on, Insta and places like that. It's a mess. And people are making big promises and they have no idea how they're going to keep them. And the people that are successful are the ones that have figured out how to be successful on social media, but not necessarily good at what they do, because they've had to spend all of their energy on getting attention. And that's not how I want to live my life. I've been doing this well over 30 years. And for me, it is really important that my marketing feels as good as everything else in my business. And for me, that podcast strategy is the best thing to do. And I'm building it the same sort of system, building it over here on YouTube. But for me, the podcast strategy just feels so aligned and so effortless. It doesn't feel like marketing. It feels like me just rocking up on a Monday morning with my cup of coffee, having a conversation with the people that I know are listening. And it's the easiest thing I ever do. And that's how we want our marketing to be, right? We want it to feel, one, aligned, two, as valuable and as lovely as the other work that we do, and three, effortless. Like, we don't want to have to work too hard with our marketing. We work too hard to market our businesses, and it doesn't have to be that way. Anyway, that's it for this week. I'm about to go and have lunch with a friend that I haven't seen for a little while. I started running again. I went and had a shoe fitting and I started running. Last week I did my video on HRT and all of that stuff. And you guys, I feel like a new woman. I feel so good. I feel I'm still very bloated and I'm not really liking the side effects, but they're diminishing every day. They're getting less and less, but I will take it because the energy that I have is incredible. My brain fog that I didn't know I had is completely gone. so many things are improving very, very quickly. And so, yeah, like a month ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, there is no way I would wake up thinking about running and going to the gym. I was negotiating so hard with myself and procrastinating and all those things. It's a completely different world for me right now. So, ladies, if you are, of a certain age and you are experiencing, all of those things, it's worth just going to speak to somebody about, right? And just have a conversation with them about it and just see if it's for you. Might not be for you. You might not have the same like results that I am experiencing. It's very, what I do understand is it's very different for everybody. But for me, very quickly, it's really been a game changer. So, yeah, I'm running. I've got swimming lessons starting in about a week or so. At the gym 4 times a week. I've now added legs back because my back is feeling a lot better. And I think the HRT has helped with that too. So it's solving a lot of problems for me. So I'm a lot more active. I've got a lot more energy. Like I feel like I'm back. I feel like I'm back, but better than ever. Anyway, that is it. I don't know what I'm going to talk about next week. Usually I leave and I tell you this is what I'm going to talk about, but I don't know. I don't know. I think what I'm going to talk about actually is I might just do a little bit of behind the scenes of like the last few weeks because I've had a few things go on that one, I had a client steal an idea that just felt really fucking shitty. I've had, hired a sales team. Like there's been a lot of things going on. So I feel like I will share maybe some behind the scenes stuff with in the business, like how I operate my business in terms of like what's happening right now, not from a bird's eye perspective, but I'm hiring the sales team, we're onboarding the sales team. This is happening, that's happening. Because I feel like, I don't know, if you have been in this industry for a long time and you've been in business for a while, I think you're probably more interested in how other people are doing things just to be inspired by that, as opposed to paint by numbers, do this and that will create that or whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? All right, I'm going. I'm going to go have lunch with my friend, and it's warmer today. It's still not like the most brilliant day I've ever seen, and we're deep into spring. Summer starts in a week, and we've really had the worst weather ever. But anyway, I could go on about that because I am I'm a different person when the sun is shining. Let me just say that. Anyway, that's it. I will see you next week. Bye.